What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View and welcome back to another edition of the Transfer View.
Hey, we are playing Euro. No go Clio.
We're gonna do this.
Clio.
No excuses. I don't want to hear we're not full strength.
I won't go. Man United say we must go. We are playing Euro. The no go Clio. Tell Ramadan we will not go.
Hold
I
up.
won't go. Man United say we're back up. We're back up. United.
We're gonna do this.
United. Good morning. Good morning.
That's the kind of energy you're bringing this morning to the Transfer
Yeah,
View.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was expecting just an innocent bomb. You know what I mean? Just an innocent. I
Remember
like
that stupid bomb? That bomb that we had before pre-Ineos started getting crazy.
dung.
No, and it's the last morning show for me for a little bit, innit? So you want to have a bang. I think we've done well. I think we've been brilliant. I have to say that. So my wife always says I've got no problem with self-praise, but I think we've done a great job.
No, I think we have done a good job. Yes, I think we've done a good job. We haven't managed to get ourselves fired.
We haven't been. Yeah, that's important.
But there's still time. We still got time this morning. We'll see how it goes because KG.
Yes.
What we got to talk about is someone you've already created a nickname for, Ugarte. We've got to talk about Ugarte this morning. We're going to be talking about Scott McTominay and how that factors into Ugarte. We'll be chatting a little bit about pre-season, but we'll also be chatting about just in the last couple of minutes, just before we went live, KG.
Now, the algorithm.
For the algorithm. Rhythm. Algorithm. Laurie Whitwell is reporting an interesting interview with Erik ten Hag. That he did with Dutch media, talking about how prior to everything being agreed that he was going to stay on as Manchester United manager, prior to having his contract extended, how communication broke down with Ineos, and him opening up on it's a strange state of affairs, and how they didn't say we want to continue, but we want. They didn't say we still want to continue, but we want to continue. There's a lot in there, so we're going to be getting to that too. It's a very interesting. It's a very interesting story, that one. So we'll be chatting about that too. So there's plenty to get into this morning. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner too. I believe right now across the board globally there is an outage for lots of sort of technology at the moment. KG, I don't know if you've seen this in the news, but despite all of this, do you know what doesn't have an outage? Do you know what doesn't go down? Us. No, but not Ineos.
We're gonna do this.
Believe.
I mean, I thought I was going to say us, and KG went Ineos.
Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
Yes, what? No, because you know what? Ineos have, let's be honest. Ineos have made us happy. These last
Us. Yeah.
Oh man, that's how you know that. What you call it? That's how you know that we're in a good mood.
Yes.
I didn't even know that something was going on. I had no idea. And I watched your show last night. Yeah, the Ugarte show. Yeah, and it's so funny because you got into this moment when you said, because when I leave the country, Man United lose. Yeah, when I leave the country, it goes bad. Flex leaves the country, goes on holiday. You noted out that we just need to start signing players.
Yeah, I always say this to Flex. I always go Flex, you got terrible timing, man. You got terrible timing. And I don't mean in terms of showing up to things on time. I mean in terms of whenever anything big happens, he's always occupied. You know what I mean? He's always occupied doing something. He'd be like, I'm just here. I can't. And I was like, oh man, he's got on. KG, just think about this, yeah. He's been on holiday, not even for 7 days. In the last 7 days, right, we have signed 2 players. Jadon Sancho has returned. Our new CEO has started. We've agreed personal terms with another player, and we've played a game. How has that happened? How has that happened?
I don't know if it's jinx. Yeah, someone's saying jinx deactivated, but then I don't know because it is weird. The most stuff has happened since this guy's gone on holiday. The Sancho one was the first one. We was all together, and he's like, what is going on? You know, have you got the flex on? What is going on there?
Oh well, I've got the swearing one from
Yeah, that one.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I got that. But if you want, if it was Thai, it would be.
What is going on here?
That's what it would be.
What's going on here? So it's mental. So even yesterday, like when you played all the emotions that you went through yesterday, we signed Euro. He looked happy to be here, you know, because a lot of people thought he's here under duress. You know, he never wanted to come here. His club forced his parent club forced him here. He doesn't want to be at Man United at all. Like he can't stand the place. Only for him to come out and say, "Oh, they looked after my family and everyone was really like, I want to be a part of this project." But again, Man United could never sell a project to a player. You know the stuff that they usually say. And then after we go from that to the announcement video to Rio Ferdinand to breaking.
With the shirt off.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I made my feelings clear. I was gonna message Flex to say
I said the same thing. I said the same thing.
You're trying to convince him to come to the club, bro, and but you're naked.
I said this. Like that would just never be. Imagine like if we were in that shoes, they went, "Can you just record a quick video?"
Yeah.
The discussion of, do I have my shirt on or off for this? That's never getting brought up.
Never.
That's never getting brought up.
No, because this is Mike. The killer is, you know, they ask you because they might say, "Hey, Rio, we need a video because you know it's like we're going to use it as part of the thing, right? We're going to use it as part of the build up and him talking to you." And he's like, "Cool, no problem." The fact that he's recorded that and then press share, because there's a little moment you watch it like the first couple seconds back.
Yeah.
He didn't register. My top's off, you know.
Generational talent.
Generational. Blows him a kiss and says, and
it's like going,
French.
Larry.
Not his finest moment, bro. Not his finest. As soon as I get to meet Rio, there's no way we don't bring that up. There's no way. There's no way. That we have to cover uncomfortable ground quickly. So
indeed, we do. Super chats in already. Then we'll talk about Manuel Ugarte. Amanor says, "Owen, I got cancelled by KG yesterday on his show. Is that accurate?"
Go on. Who said that? Let me just say that. Oh yeah. Sorry, it wasn't his fault. He was just a victim of the situation. It just became very awkward very quickly. Someone wished my mum well, but you know, I have like, you know, my situation. So there's like prayers for your mum, and I was like, yeah, you can't do that. Then it just got really awkward, so we just ended the show.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what that meant. I saw I saw you did a tweet when that show ended awkwardly, and I went, now I could check this out, and I went, but I don't want to know. I went, if KG's taken to Twitter to say that ended awkwardly, and this is a guy that he doesn't do awkward, right? Then I went, I don't want to know. I went, it was
awkward. And then after I made an awkward joke, he was just mad. It's just so awkward. We just said, let's end it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Ivor says, "Owen, please, I'm only here for the op statement." That is true. We have still seen more of that, actually. We've seen some more statements coming from the likes of Real Madrid and Liverpool. Here's the latest Liverpool one again. Yeah, a lot of fun. Let's talk about Ugarte. And Fabrizio Romano dropping this late last night, KG. We were saying, weren't we, that Ineos, they're not satisfied. They've done Lenny Euro. That's finished. That's done. No resting on the laurels. No, oh, look at the work we've done. It's no. Let's agree some terms with Ugarte, because Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester United have agreed on personal terms with Manuel Ugarte. Contract terms discussed. Player keen on moving to United even without Champions League football. Club-to-club talks continue with PSG as more clubs also inquired. It's the same agent involved in the Lenny Euro deal, that being George Mendes. Florian Plettenberg saying, as reported and now confirmed again, Manuel Ugarte more than keen to join Manchester United with immediate effect. The 23-year-old midfielder has given a green light for this transfer to Manchester United. Now Manchester United are trying to find a solution with PSG. Clubs are in contact and negotiations are ongoing. This morning, L'Equipe in France, they are reporting that Manuel Ugarte has reached an agreement indeed with Manchester United, but the positions of the two clubs aren't aligned yet. This is the interesting stuff, KG. this is very, very interesting. PSG want up to around £59 million for him, which United don't want to pay. Instead, Manchester United are considering a loan with an option to buy. And I think the reason they think they can kind of maneuver this one is because PSG, they are desperate to get Ugarte off the books because they want to get João Neves at any cost. So PSG are prepared to let Ugarte leave as they want to get Neves at all costs. After this agreement that's already in place with Neves and PSG, Man United and PSG are now in talks over the Ugarte fee. How are you feeling about this? I saw this actually broke whilst you were live last night once again.
Yes.
You get very, very excited by it all. You need to invest in a breaking news button. Something,
because you know what's going on now is like I went strong on this signing. Like he wasn't our player, and I already had a nickname for him, which is a bit like that's reckless for me.
That's for you.
I think even deserves the button. You know, the Lee Judges one because.
The Lee Judges of.
I have a name for him.
Fucking reckless! That's fucking reckless! It's only gonna get me yellow.
That's one of my best sounds anyway. But it was reckless because I knew that I was looking and I saying this is the player that we need. You know, Owen. Like end of the day, Man United. I've said this time and time again, but Man United have this thing where we go for players that. It's nice. It's good. It's a good shirt seller. Good for the brand. But do we need them? And that's been the Man United transfer policy for the last few years. We bought in maybe Cavani didn't do the work. We just like the fact that cool celebration. He's Cavani. Is it going to work for us? Maybe not. Casemiro. Like we didn't do our due diligence when we looked at that player. Sancho was the main one. We chased Sancho for 2 summers, only to find out when he arrives. I like to play on the left, everybody. Wait, excuse me. We've been looking for the answers to the right-hand side. We thought was getting the answer to the right-hand side, only for you to say, nah, I fancy the left-hand side, actually. So Man United have gone on this habit of getting the things that they don't need. Donny van de Beek, the list goes on. Now, finally, we said, what's the hole that we have in our team? Last season, we tried to create a midfield of Mason Mount, Kobbie Mainoo, and Bruno Fernandes. Way too lightweight. Then we changed it. Casemiro, Bruno, Kobbie. Still wasn't good enough. Then we went Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno. Didn't work. So guess what? You have a midfield issue. We tried every Amrabat, like we tried everything. We couldn't really find what was looking for. We said, well, what do we need in there? Legs. What do we need in there? A tenacious tackler. What do we need on there? Someone that is confident and feels joy from being physical, being intercepting. Someone that takes as much pride as how you wouldn't score in a goal. And they've gone and identified the player. So while everyone's like, get João Neves, it's not what we need. It's a lovely player. We don't need him for the situation we find ourselves in currently.
It's a really interesting one, isn't it? I think, first of all, when you just take a step back and sort of remove the player profile part of it, I mean, you're really starting to see now, like even the ops that were trying to mock Manchester United for the Lenny Oro one, once the Ugarte stuff came out last night, even they had to start going, I mean, my club hasn't even got a player in. They're on the verge of 3. They've 2, and they've agreed personal terms with another 2. You know what I mean? So Manchester United and Ineos clearly mean business. When it comes to the player, I agree with you. You can't go through this transfer window not getting a midfielder. That's very clear last season. Now, as far as is he an upgrade on Casemiro? Is he an upgrade on Sofian Amrabat? Look, I can't say I've watched a ton of football of him play, and I'm not going to be one of those people that comes on these kind of shows and pretends that I've seen loads of them. I've seen other people that know more than I talk about them, i.e. we did the interview with Kevin Hatchard, and he was saying, well, when he was at Sporting, he was back up to Palhinha. Not a bad player, right? not a bad player with that. Not saying he is Palhinha by any stretch. He's also saying that part of the problem that maybe why it hasn't worked out necessarily at PSG isn't necessarily a talent issue, more a system issue, in the sense of Luis Enrique. Look, he likes to have ball playing, or he doesn't really need the bite that maybe a Manchester United would need, because PSG, they're going to dominate possession for the majority of their games, and he wants all of his midfielders to be complete ball playing midfielders. Hence why he wants to get in Neves or someone like that. So it's not necessarily because he's washed, because we do this too, don't we? Oh, wow, it didn't work out this club, so he must be awful, KG. He must be absolutely terrible. You can't fail once, heaven forbid. He fits into the profile. How old is he? 23, I think he is. 23 years old. He did catch people's eye at the Copa America with performances for Uruguay there. And you are right. We need that. We still need that bite in midfield. What we need is what we kind of thought Casemiro would be. And maybe Casemiro would have been had we got him sort of, what 4 or 5 years earlier. You know what I mean? That's what we need. We need that person that's going to win the ball back, going to be aggressive, going to fly into tackles, going to cover ground. But it's not just completely on him, because I think any player, we saw this last season too, if those gaps are still in the midfield, any player will struggle in that system. So it's a combination of the player situation and also the system situation. But I'm really excited. This is why I keep circling back to it. This is why I was so excited when these guys were being announced and coming in. Omar Barads, Christopher Vivs. That's all it takes with you, by the way. That's all it takes.
We're gonna do this. Oh man, bro, I've been hiding, like, not even like hiding my smile and stuff, but obviously you can tell I'm happy in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just way happy for the United fans, because it's been tragic for so long. You know, we've been getting through it.
Is there that bit at the back of your head though? Is there just that little bit, you know, when you go, because I'm with you on the sense of I'm really happy, and 2 signings in already. Definitely more are going to come. I'd be floored if by the end of the window we don't bring in at least 1 or 2 more people. Like, it's going to happen. But is there something, because we're just not used to this feeling when you go, maybe I'm too happy. Maybe I'm too happy. You know what I mean? That kind of...
In moments like that, all you got to do is this, bro.
Hey, we are playing Europe. Himali Chano go clear.
Nah.
Is that just constantly now in your head? You know what I mean? You know that thing when they say, "I wonder if you could just tap in someone's head and listen to the noise that's inside their head." That is constantly inside KG's head, 24/7. And occasionally, someone like his wife snaps him out of it and goes like, "Kevin, you what?"
No, honestly, no. But you know me, I'm very like, I just don't think like that, to be honest. While it's like,
no, you're right too.
It could go to crap.
Yes.
Yeah, it could all go to rubbish. But that's not fun, is it? That's like waiting for something bad to happen to you.
Indeed.
Well, it probably will then, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like end of the day, I'm gonna enjoy it each day. Like, cause something like, calm down, you don't even know if he's good yet. Shut up. You know what I mean? There's always someone that wants to tell you, don't be happy. But then I look at the two, I say, so I assess, you have to make a quick assessment, yeah? And you know, like deducing, yeah? Understanding where you're feeling right now. If I go around being sad, yeah, how's that gonna make me feel? Like sad and worried. It's not really gonna help me. Right now, compared to happiness and a bit of like optimism, I think I'd rather choose that. Because at least the day just feels a bit nicer. Now, don't get twisted. When you get hit with a body blow, it hurts. But it's life. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it is what it is. I choose to be on this side of the road. It's fun.
But you got to remember, KG, we did lose against Rosenborg.
Huh?
And that Rosenborg team is not going to play. And you have to, sometimes, what you got to do is step back and look at other people's situations sometimes. If you're like, if you want to go and look at the rivals. Yesterday, I turned up on Coppish. I was a menace on Coppish.
Oh, did you?
I was a menace.
I knew there was stuff going on, by the way, because when I start seeing KG's active on social media, because KG does Twitter in bursts. He won't touch it for ages. And then next thing I know, I'll open up the timeline and I see like 10 tweets from KG. It's like, it's poof, 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 poof. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, he's on a tear, so that does not surprise me.
So I went on Coffish, and they were talking about biscuits. Yeah, it's near the end of the show. You lot go and check it. I let them know about stuff. I said, look at you lot. This is what we used to be like. You know, when you got to talk about anything else but transfer signings because nothing is happening, and you knew the reason why they got my attention is United have signed Euro, FSG have still not. You know that their thumbnail was bare long in it. And I thought, This show's asking for me. So I pulled up.
You arrived at you called, we didn't. You kind of did though.
Yeah. So no, brilliant. Literally, played our whole song, played the full song, played the Lenny Euro song on their stream. Yeah, with United, brilliant. And I'm gonna keep doing it because Man United have been laughed at by so many. Julian Laurens, yeah, them ESPN guys are a disgrace. I'm telling you now, Owen. I didn't even realize how bad it was. Yeah.
It's terrible, KG. It's awful. Who's that Scottish guy? What's the Scottish guy called?
Craig Burley,
and
Stevie Nichols.
That's the one. That's the one.
But when I tell you what these lot were on yesterday, yeah. So and I had to go and check it. They went this signing very expensive. Obviously, they're doing the complete add-ons because it's achieved all of those add-ons.
Yes,
they're doing everything, and I was like, I find this really strange how they're acting to this. Surely this ain't the only young player that's been signed on the case of, potential, this, that, and the other. We went into I done a Owen, and I went back and I said, well, how did they respond to Tchouaméni? And 80 million in a midfield that he wasn't going to play much because guess who's in the midfield already? And they said, it's great from Real Madrid, building for the future, and I trust them, this, that, and the other. Then I thought, it can't just be them. Let's go and have a look at how they responded to what's it, Endrick? The one that plays in the Brazilian league. Yeah? 60 million as well. And plus add-ons, it says, but it doesn't say how much add-ons, but with us, we got to give a full breakdown. They said, this is fantastic. This is, they hate us, bro. There's literally something that it doesn't make sense. Then they're like onto it because people have been calling out, say, you hate United. Well, and they're like, no, we don't. Yes, you do.
Well, it was like the Sky thing. I think I saw you repost this yesterday. The Sky thing of the comparison between the Man City announcement and the Man United announcement. The Man City announcement, it doesn't even include like a fee or anything like that. Signed him on a 5-year deal. Signed him on a 5-year deal. Manchester United, they show 2 fees, by the way. One in pounds, one in euros. They had everything on. And then people start talking about, well, also, probably got to consider in this one, agent fees. That's probably including this. When did we start counting that? That's a new one.
Agent fees. The agent fees that we're still waiting to find out about Haaland is why they got 115 charges.
Yeah, I saw Kane from United District, and it's so true. He went, how do you report a Manchester United transfer? Well, what you do is you find the number, round it up, obviously. So if it's 42, it becomes 50. Then convert that into euros, include the add-ons in the total figure, then also take the currency off at the end so it looks like it's pounds. That's what you do. That is the Manchester United mind trick when it comes to the reporting of transfers. That is how it works. So it ends up that we signed Lenny Euro for like 75 million, something like that. That's just what it is. You don't know whether it's pounds, it's euros, it's dollars, or anything like that. That's all it is. That's all it is. And everyone goes,
it's to put the pressure on him. It's honestly to put the pressure on him just so they can say it's only when the season starts. Well, Man United did pass out 75 million on this talent. So you got to ask yourself certain questions. And it's like, wait, what is going on? Like this doesn't even make sense. You lot are trying to, you keep saying, here's the line that someone said. You can tell Man United said they're staying out the stalls and they're going to change and they're not going to be held to ransom. You can clearly see by this transfer that Man United haven't learned a thing. Wait. All right, that's disingenuous. But you said it, and guess what? The people that don't support Man United have no idea, so that's their talking point. Yeah, they're gonna come out and say there are people that don't support, are not gonna do their due diligence. They don't support the club. They just want an argument. They're gonna say, "Well, bro, 75 million, not euros." All they say is 75 million.
Yeah,
and what do you call it? That's not including add-ons because obviously in their heads, they always understand add-ons.
Yeah. It's true. I spoke to a friend of mine actually, and I said, "Oh man, I'm doing business." And they were like, "Yeah, but like 70 million quid for a guy left in his 1 year." And I went, but that, and I confirmed it. I went, they don't know because they just see that and they just go, "Well, that must be true," And then you have to explain to me. You have to go, "Well, that's not true. It's actually like 42 million." And on top of that, he's on like £112,000 a week, like. Raphael Varane was on 340, like Martial was on 250, Donny was on 120, like Greenwood, I think was on 75. You go to, actually, we're still in very good shape with that kind of stuff. So they don't care. You know what the response is for all of it? They just go, rattled. And you go, not really rattled.
I'm just, you're lying. And here's the other one. This is the other one. I can't believe Man United has spent this much money for someone that was going to be free next year. Okay. All right. You do. Do you know who was getting in for him? Do you wait? Do you not understand?
He's crying in his car.
That's crazy. So we're actually fighting Real Madrid for the signature. This is a clever move to get ahead of Real Madrid. And you're telling me that, yeah, we could have just got him for free at the end of the season. No, we couldn't. That's why we're here now.
And I like to think, genuinely, by the way, and I don't mean it facetiously, like, let's say hypothetically, Liverpool signed Lenny Yoro for the same amount of money, a year left in his contract. I don't think United fans' first response would be, you could have got him free on a year and whatever. I wouldn't pay that much attention to it. It would just be like, well, we'd be more annoyed at ourselves. We'd be like, oh, why didn't we do anything like that?
Say wonderful. Do you know what the line is? Wonderful piece of business. Yeah. When it's them, I remember Arnie, whatever his name, got announced, yeah, and they said Ten Hag's going to be really worried because this guy is going to. I said, where'd you get that from? Like, but it's just different. I get the news when it is us because of how we made ruin the childhood of the journalists as well, the media. So
yeah, or the playing careers of pundits.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I'm cool. I'm
Super chats here. Tabro's been a member for 5 months. Says, big up everyone at UV. The KO show bangs. To all the Liverpool fans, sit back down. What you mean, Owen? If your dad gets Yoro on the back of his top, that's not going to happen.
We're not. We said that. We had a communicate. We had a conversation as a community and felt that it's not wise for your dad to get.
No, it won't happen. It won't happen. He's very aware. He's very aware of the situation. GJE says Neves is pricey. Ugarte fits the profile and budget. Diva says this can't be my club. What is going on? We are having a title charge this season. We are coming for 115 charges, frauds, and we put the pressure on.
We're doing a title charge.
Big up DJ. He says Ineos have shown pure aggression in the manner in which they have gone about their business. It's calculated and efficient. Teams now have to take the bass out of their voice when we're across the table. Joe Fleming says KG is 100% right on the type of midfielder we need. A younger version of Casemiro will be perfect, and Uruguayan's got a history of being fighters as well. Ideal.
That's what we need. We need, again, you're talking about Leacher ahead of him in that midfield.
We need a couple more bastards in the team, don't we?
Bastards. And you know what? This is why, and I hope we're talking about this morning, but the Rabiot thing's not going away.
It's not going away. It's not going away. Let's talk about the McTominay thing. We can circle into that, actually. So yes. The McTominay one. So basically what Romano was saying with this Ugarte deal, and I suppose now with the loan, blah, 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 is that someone still needs to go for this to happen. This is kind of the case, I think, for a lot of transfers now this summer, it is going to be a one out, one in kind of scenario. So Scott McTominay. Now, we spoke about this the other day, actually, on the transfer view, saying about his move to Turkey, how it would probably not be possible considering the finances involved. But Florian Plettenberg is saying he's been told that Galatasaray, they've not given up hope on Scott McTominay. The 27-year-old is the preferred solution for their central midfield. Galatasaray have a feeling that he's open to a move to their club, and there are serious chances. Therefore, Galatasaray have also initiated talks with Manchester United. The clubs remain in contact. However, Manchester United are still demanding around 30 million euros, which is still too much for them. He's got a contract until 2025, which is a year left, but they do have the option for a further year. Fabrizio Romano also saying that Manchester United are working on outgoings with Casemiro or Scott McTominay to make room for this new midfielder. You mentioned Rabiot there. I mean, that is one, like you said, won't really go away. But I was told, KG, bit of insider information. I was told last night, basically, watch McTominay. Watch that one. There are multiple offers for Scott McTominay, and there's certainly multiple destinations. Now, that's not to say he's going to go anywhere. That's not going to say that this one's definitely going to happen, but there is, shall we say, movement to KG. There is movement when it comes to McTominay. Fulham, we know already put a bid in, was rejected. They're thinking about a second bid. We know this Galatasaray one, which I'm kind of with you when I go, are they really going to pay the money required to get that one done? I don't know. There might be some other options on the table too. The Casemiro to Saudi one, I've stuck by. I still think that's quite 50-50 because
I think they're going to do it. Well, you can see clearly right now, there's movement and things happening, and we have to look at the domino effects, right? So potentially we're seeing West Ham are trying to speak to they want N'Golo Kante in it.
I spoke to Flex about that last night, by the way, because he's the Kante thing or whatever. Actually, let me read out what he said, because, well, I'm not sure he kind of got the point really with it. But I sent him the article, and if you're not familiar with this, it was reported last night in the Guardian that West Ham they're in talks with N'Golo Kante, could be around £20 million. Romano and others have confirmed this morning, but it must be stressed. The Saudi club Al Ittihad don't want to sell, and 2, a massive stumbling block, as is always the case with moves from Saudi, wages. His wages are massive. Obviously, he would take a pay cut, but even so, how much of a pay cut would he be willing to take? I said that to Flex. Flex said, quote, "If that's low cost, we must do it." Everyone laughed at me.
Now he's saying we must do it again still.
For reference, N'Golo Kante is, I just want to double check that I'm right with this. He is 34 years old in March of next year.
I get N'Golo Kante is a legendary player.
That's what I was like when I read that this morning. And I was like,
Flex, you can't keep getting away with this, bro. Flex is moving mad. Like
he's got a thing for Conte. He's got a thing for him for years,
stop, bro. Like, but the main thing is, I was trying to do the domino effect, because basically, while Saudi are saying they want to, and you were speaking about this yesterday, but Saudi are trying to bring in young players. Younger players are really difficult to. It sounds great, but people are not trying to go and just play on the sand at this time, and yes, they don't play on sand, but just getting back to Saudi. That's it. Yeah. People are not, like, young players are not really trying to do that right now. So guess what? While that's our intention, is to doing it. And if N'Golo Kante goes this way, they still need to say this league is an active league they need to be in, because that's a big loss. You're talking about someone that, again, belief system, this, that, and the other, they're well linked, and he's left. So then it's like, well, if he's leaving, he's not happy there. What's going on with the league? If you bring in a Casemiro, if you bring in a Galactico, well, it still says that's still the destination to go to. What Man United has been able to achieve in this short time is we've almost made ourselves a destination to go to. We've almost made the project exciting. I was thinking the other day that I can imagine the feeling in the camp. Like, even at the game, watch how the players start to try even more now, because the club looks like it's going in this direction. You want to be a part of it. So they're taking training very seriously. Now they're realizing, oh my goodness, this is a big club. And by the looks of things, if I'm not a part of this, I'm going to be gone. And they're going to keep going that way. Are you on the train? It's not going to stop. You're going to get kicked off. I need to move. It's mental. So I honestly feel that in all these moves that are happening, I definitely see the Casemiro one happening late. I see the McTominay one. Well, there's a few clubs. They're saying Fulham and Tottenham.
That could be pretty quick.
Well, they're saying Tottenham's into the race as well, potentially.
I saw that because they were after Conor Gallagher, and that one might not happen. So they might go after McTominay. But I think, you know what? You do bring up a good point, saying that the Conte one could be the domino for the Casemiro one to happen. If that was to happen, which I still don't know if I could see N'Golo Kante going to West Ham. If they were able to pull that off and find a way to pull it off, I think you're right in the sense of there's a void there in Saudi, particularly in that team, just in general, of they need a defensive midfielder, so you can go Casemiro, but also he's one of sort of the prized assets of the Saudi Pro League. He's a big name. He's a world-known name. And as much as they are trying to pivot to a different kind of approach when it comes to their transfers, they still need those people that are going to attract the eyeballs onto the product, internationally. So that could be something that they do to replace him in that sense. So I agree with that. I think that might be one to watch. But
there's pride, and there's major pride. There's major pride. Yeah. When was out, like when I got to go out there, they care about how they're seen across the world. They do care. They want people to rate the product that they have. They want people to believe in what they're trying to build.
I forgot that you went out there, and you still used the analogy earlier on of out there playing on the sand.
You know what I mean? But then, no, but hey, bro, it's outside of the great little spaces. It is the desert, bro. Like it's like
I saw your internet at the
no,
time.
it's desert, bro. As in, you see, there's a football club, desert. And then Hans is like, oh wow, all these high rises, desert. So yeah, like it's hot.
I remember you said like when you we were trying to, I think, do like a Trinity or something. You went, look, the internet's just not going to happen. And I went, really? You went, it took me 45 minutes to upload an 8-minute video.
45 minutes to upload a 10-minute video. Say no more. But they're on it though. They're on it. So soon, I get back in December. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
They can. They certainly do care about the project. But McTominay, definitely one to watch. Definitely one to watch. So we will keep an eye on that. And that might be the pathway for Ugarte to happen, which we didn't really cover it that much. Low of an option to buy. I mean, it might be a bit of an Amrabat situation. Might be an Amrabat situation.
I think it's a great. They, as you said, they really want to bring in Yao Neves. He's important to their plans. It's kind of like our situation. You know, when they basically are like, how we want to bring in Delete, but we have to wait until Maguire or someone to go. So guess what? They're open. If we can do something that it helps us later, like we didn't want to sell Greenwood for the money we sold him for. We was probably hoping for more, but we said, you know what? It's an investment. Send him there. 50% buy-on clause. 25 million euros or something like that. We'll take the short right now. But again, for the later. So this is what they're doing. They're saying, look, bring in Yao Neves. He's surplus to. We got Vitinho. We got what's the other good baller that plays in the Spanish team? Is it Ruiz?
Ruiz, yeah, Ruiz.
Yeah, well, this guy. We're gonna bring in one of the youngest players, one of the like rising stars of the game. He can go.
I saw you again. You were active on social media last night into the wee hours of the morning. We're getting involved because Chelsea potentially are interested in Andreas Pereira as an option this summer. And once KG found out there was a 20% salon clause, he was very excited.
Your profit. I said, what? Chelsea, do your business. Because wait, Chelsea are selling Gallagher, right?
Well, who knows? I mean, he's been linked for an exit from Chelsea for the best part of like a year or so, hasn't he? Yeah, madness. But still, pure profit. Pure profit,
bro. And it's profit that we didn't even know that was gonna. It's profit that we forgot about. It's like that's so cool. You're sitting there thinking, wait a minute. So we get some of that if he goes. And Chelsea, you know them, they're crazy when they do signings. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Super chat from Lil Yo-Yo says, Vivs, Barards, Ashy, Wills, big business. Yeah, have you got the button, KG?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot here now, though.
I did business. Shut up. Shut up. This is business. Hey.
Yes.
Team Nathan's been a member for 24 months, 2 years support, KG. Says, big up KO. I've been MIA for a bit. I've become a first-time dad. Congratulations. Congratulations, Team Nathan.
Congratulations. What's the baby's name? That's really exciting news, man.
Called United. It's called United.
United. No, listen, it goes so quick. Enjoy it. It goes so quick. Don't wish none of it away. It's fast. Before you know it, they're like at school. And you're like, how's this happened?
And you're and tackling them at sports day, aren't you, KG?
Tackling them at sports day, man. Trust me, it's incredible. But yeah, just enjoy it. I always tell new parents, enjoy that. Don't even it's so cool.
And also says, what a way to start his United journey with the club run correctly. Yes, indeed. I do want to move on and talk about this Erik ten Hag interview, KG. This is really interesting. So as I said, Laurie Whitwell's kind of covered this in The Athletic this morning. And Ten Hag has opened up on the honest conversations he had with United's hierarchy in the period after the Wembley showdown in May, in which Manchester United won the FA Cup, of course, when he went on holiday to Ibiza. It was here when Ten Hag discovered he would be keeping his job. So he did this interview with AD Sport Verald, and he said, quote, yes, communication broke down with Ineos, but I was just celebrating holidays with my loved ones, and I let things happen. I have no influence on that. Of course, that is a strange state of affairs, but it's not like I panicked. It's a decision that was out of my hands. I just waited it out. At that moment, you just think in two scenarios. Either we continue or not. It's that simple. And I'm level-headed enough to look at it that way. They didn't say we still want to continue, but we want to continue. which is, again, quite interesting that he specifies the difference there. Not we still want to continue, but we want to continue. Maybe suggesting that there might have been a time that there wasn't. I'm not sure what he's kind of hinting at there. He then continues by saying, the argument they gave was, in short, we have looked at everything and compared everything, but we think we already have the best manager in-house. Then I said, then we have to discuss a number of things about how we will interact with each other and work together. We had a good, honest, but also confrontational conversation about this, as it should be at the top. I think that's all the... then he talks about how... the 54-year-old Ten Hag was questioned whether it was a risk to bring in too many Dutch coaches, but he emphasized that he has looked at their expertise more than anything else. He said, quote, if you want to get better, you have to innovate, Ten Hag said. Yes, we have looked closely at changing the staff, but when it comes to Mitchell van der Gaag, for example, with whom I've worked fantastically, things were a little different. He wanted to become a head coach again, then that is the time to break up. I look at quality. This is the Premier League. Not only do you look at the absolute top when composing your group of players, but this also applies to the coaches, specialists, and staff members. In almost the entire English top management, you see that managers surround themselves with international top people, often people with whom they have a relationship or trust or they already know. It was no different at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, now under Arne Slot, but you see it everywhere. At Manchester City, at Arsenal, at Spurs, at Aston Villa, Spaniards, Germans, Dutch, Australians, you name it. I started looking for people who I know are good. Loyalty is also a thing. Ruud van Nistelrooy, a fantastic, experienced coach with United DNA. We have a talented British coach in Darren Fletcher. Rene Harker was someone with the same profile as Mitchell had, a very good and experienced, analytically strong field coach. And Jelle ten Roelvelle has trained 3 Dutch internationals, including Bart Verbruggen. With his innovative training material, he is one of the great talents when it comes to modern goalkeeper training. Also, he had agreed to go to Ajax, and Manchester United agreed a compensation fee with them. He says Ajax, weren't happy about that. No, I understand that too. I found that unpleasant too. But I had already spoken extensively with Jelle in February and March. However, because many things were still uncertain at the time, including my own position, I could not yet make firm agreements about this. I'm happy that Ajax ultimately cooperated to make this possible. So quite interesting, actually, all of that. First of which, talking about how he had these talks with Ineos and basically saying, yeah, we had to sort a lot out. And they came to me, said, we think we've got the best manager in-house. They didn't say we still want to continue, but we want to continue. Maybe sort of suggesting that at one point they still didn't want to continue, but they changed their mind. And Ten Hag saying, yeah, because of that, we had to get a lot of things sorted out and switched out and said, right, okay, if we're going to work together, how are we going to do it? How are we going to work together? And ultimately, seemingly now, everyone's on the same page because we're doing a lot of business off the pitch. Hopefully, we do the business on the pitch as well. What did you take away from all that?
You know what? There's, a few things, actually. One of the main things is he's a strong-minded manager, and you need that. You need someone with self-belief and confidence, and he instills it in his players, especially the young players. So his message it gets across, and you can see why the young players connect to him so much. He's fearless. You know, he's looking at the situation. He said, you lot want to fire me. The greatest words were, you fire me, I'll leave and I'll still win titles. I said, yo. And everyone took notice of that because they said, that's hard. That's gangster. I think it had a chord. It hit a chord with the Man United fan base. It was like, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we've been wanting to hear. Like, he's almost been getting pushed around pillar to post. And now we're seeing someone that's really believing in himself. And I think that self-belief's never gone. So when he knew it was getting bad, it's like, well, make your decision. When he went on break, he's like, I know how good I can be for the club. You just need to give me the sufficient tools. At the time, I didn't have the tools. When you're talking about, like, it only goes into, you look at what the Glazers have done, or you look at what the Glazers' lack of business or lack of ideas or football people in places, how much it's damaged the club. So now you're saying Man United had a back four of Maguire. It was Maguire, Johnny Evans, Lindelof, who under many different managers have not Johnny Evans, but I'm saying Maguire and Lindelof especially, they've been here and it hasn't worked. So guess what? They shouldn't still be here. We shouldn't see in the last season Maguire and Lindelof starting games against Arsenal, or it's Maguire and Johnny Evans. That's a disgrace. Now look at the situation. Man United in under the new regime are talking about bringing in 2 centre-backs. You brought in one of the best young centre-backs in or as a generational talent, as I keep saying. You got him and you got Leacher, who is very good. You're also talking about bringing in De Ligt. All of a sudden, you're starting to find levels of, this is the structure he's looking for, because we can ask for more from Ten Hag because he's got better tools at his disposal. Before we used to say, well, who's he going to bring on? You're saying this, and we look at, we used to be doing the watch-alongs and the shows, and we're looking at the squad saying, there's no one on the bench. It's just Ten Hag and a bunch of untried kids. Now, if you look to your bench and you say, there's Mason Mount there, there's a lie Amrabat, there's, oh my God, there's Sancho, there's Xerxes, oh my goodness, there's Ahmad, are you seeing the difference of, I actually have weapons on the bench that could come in and change the game. The weapons that we had before, the only weapon we had before was, well, this is McTominay minutes now, put him on for 70 minutes and let him go crazy. We can't do that anymore. That's not what the Man Cities of this world do. They're bringing on talent. When Liverpool make changes, they're bringing on players that can impact the game right away. And I'm glad that Man United look like they're going in that direction. And it's only with that conversation with Ten Hag and the management team, and having a big argument, the big blow up, for them to really realize, okay, this is where we are now.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've got over 2,000 people watching, by the way, guys. We're currently at 873 likes, so just under 130 likes to go until 1K. We can do it, and we can do even more, possibly 1.5K. We've got over 2K watching, so big up. It's a big morning show at the moment. I think one of my big takeaways from that, KG, is 100% he backs himself. That's why he wasn't worried about, the decision. He sort of paints a picture of himself there going, I was on holiday, I was celebrating my loved ones, and was I worried? No, because I know it's either going to be two things. I either carry on or I don't carry on. And if I carry on doing what I'm doing. I've won 2 trophies. I back myself to win more, to improve. If I don't carry on, I back myself, like he said in that interview before or after the cup final, whenever it was, I back myself to go and win it again elsewhere. You know what I mean? I don't really care in that regard. So I think that certainly shines through there. I think that I hope, and this is maybe more hope than sort of how I interpret things, but I hope it's kind of like, I mentioned this at the time whilst this was all happening, that it was almost like Ineos felt the need to re-interview for that position, and whoever was the manager at the club had to be their guy. And the problem is that Erik ten Hag wasn't their hire. He wasn't their hire. He wasn't their guy. All of these people that are now there, whether it is Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, Vivs, whether it is, Jason Wilcox or whoever, they're all Ineos guys. They're Ineos hires. They're comfortable. If we put those people into the positions, we believe in their ability to do the best job they possibly can. For whatever reason, Erik ten Hag, because, of course, he was a John Murtough, Richard Arnold hire, a Glazer hire, they went, well, if we're making all these changes and we're hiring everyone else, then we should probably hire our own manager. And they went through that process, and by almost not re-interviewing, but by going through that process, Erik ten Hag is now effectively an Ineos hire. They decided to put him into that position. They decided to extend his contract, trigger the option. He is not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. If we have a poor start to the season, or, it's as bad as it was last season, he will be in massive trouble. And he realizes that. And actually, he probably realizes that he can get away with less than he did last year, because last year it was a case of, well, the review's still going on, strategic alternatives, and Ineos had to buy in. And after that, it's got to get ratified and all that. So that did buy him more time. Now, he maybe doesn't have that time again. And nor should he, really. Nor should he. Now it's a case of there is no question about being backed in the transfer market. Already 2 signings through the door. We're not even on tour yet. Hopefully a 3rd and a 4th are on the way. And we're hopefully going to be able to get some dead wood out. So I think the conditions he's now got are probably the conditions that he wanted in the first place. He's been asking for those things.
This is it. Like, every manager is under pressure, because there's this fallacy that's getting around that no other manager is under pressure but Ten Hag if he starts the season bad. If any manager in the top 6 starts the season bad, they're going to be in trouble. So, like it or not, in the next season, you have to keep it moving. You have to be good. But do I believe we're going to be good? Yes, because we're bringing in better players. We're bringing in their upgrades on what we have now. Now, we have to do some work on the training ground when it comes to stopping the cutback goals and stuff. But then Man United can play a different way. They can, in terms of having people playing high up the pitch, knowing you're not really getting in behind. That's one of the differences. If you do bring in Ugarte, when you're talking about the team pressing as a unit, winning the ball back higher up the pitch and being closer to the opponent's goal to score. Like, I'm talking about a team being, you've added Ruud van Nistelrooy. Hopefully he's working on in terms of us scoring goals and the striking coach in terms of us converting our chances and not being so selfish, but actually looking for the cutback and passing it to people.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I would hope that he would be like, look, guys, when I was playing, these are the runs I'd be making in the box. Here's how you find me. It's not even sometimes the striking coach. Of course, he'll work with Rasmus Højlund. Of course, he'll work with Joshua Zirkzee. He actually was in that video yesterday that was released with Ten Hag chatting to him. But also, he can talk from a striker's perspective to like your Rashfords, your Garnachos, your Sanchos, your whoever it may be, and say your Amads, and say, when I was playing, this is the kind of service that I'd be looking for. So when you're making the runs or you've got the ball in the wide areas, look to put it here. Look to find the striker here. Because I'm telling you, Siren's in the chat, because they'll be making these runs. And I agree with you. I think that's so important. We spoke about that so much last season with Højlund, didn't we? About, he's not complete, not the total package. Totally get that. But you've got to find him more. You've got to create chances for him more.
And one thing for sure, like we saw in Ten Hag's first season, what people want to forget is what he was doing is he was utilizing his bench. I think he got the most points from the subs on the bench. If Ten Hag sees it's not working and the players are not listening to the instruction, before he had who's he going to take off Rasmus Højlund for? Who's he going to Hugo? Like he can't do that. So he needs Hugo. You know what I mean? He can't be like, now you're saying, well, if I want to make that decision, I can actually bring on. There's so many change. I can bring on Zirkzee or Zirkzee. You could do so much. You could literally change the shape of the team. And he's a clever manager that he will change shape. They will make adjustments. We saw him do that in games before. So he's not had the bench to go to is one of the main things. So yeah, I think I just, with options, you can do more. Without them options, you have to just go with it. Now, if the players are not fresh, right now, there's going to be players that are chomping, waiting to play games. If they know they don't score, you're not playing. If you're not putting out good output, I can't start you. That's great, because now you got competition in all positions. If I put in a howler or a dead performance, he's waiting to take my shirt. That's what we're looking for, because that just raises the standards. Now, if let's say you have the little whoever else in there and they're not performing the way they need to, well, Euro and whoever is saying, yo, start me. And it's a young squad, so there's no excuses. These are all his players. These are all his signings. Let's get to work, man.
A couple of super chats here. Joe Fleming says, Dharma Chef, quote, here is where Man United deserve a bit of credit. LOL, a bit? You must be ducking joking. Ducking joking, KG,
We love it. I don't know what you got that. You got that yesterday, so I saw you actually say, I haven't got a duck emoji, and he done.
It's always actually wild with this. With my thing that I've got is there's all of these things. I just have to type it in, so I don't have these preloaded. I just type in duck and I can get it. Yeah. Unbelievable. We just smashed it out of the park. The hate. Ray Carl Brown says that was gangster when Eric said I win titles elsewhere. For me, that sold it with him. He's hard as nails and he will do the job at United. It's a very exciting time, KG. It's a very exciting time.
Look what do you know what was really good last season? And I give them some credit. You see when Arsenal signed Trossard, yeah. What a smart piece of business. Because guess what? Martinelli wants to stink out the place. Trossard comes on hungry. Yeah. And he's finding the back of the net. He's involved in the game immediately, because guess what? That's a good player. That's a good plan B. That's a good, some people call it a plan A, but you're talking about he was a starter where he was before. So guess what? He's going to make an effect on the team. Now, if Man United have that level of quality, not dropping it down to like a, when the next player comes on, he's still trying to find that as well. Like before, it's like, no disrespect to Facundo, but it's like, it's Facundo and Anthony.
It's true. It's true. I mean, we've said this a lot recently, haven't we? That when we do this signing thing, when every transfer window, we get so focused on where's he going to fit into the team. So and so is not going to be happy. They're not starting. And you go, look at football now. Football now, it's not about 11, not about 12 or 13. It's about having like 25-man squad, packed out bench. We bemoan the amount of games that we have to play, how frequently we have to play. This season, it's going to be more challenging. Thursday, Sunday. We're back to Thursday, Sunday once again. Sarah's in the chat. Thursday, Sundays. So that means we're going to need a squad. We're going to need a squad. That was part of the reason. Like, look at someone like Raphael Varane, right? Collectively, we're all like Raphael, brilliant defender. The ghost of the race of Phantom, Rolls Royce defender. Two things were the issue with him at Man United. One was his salary, and two was his ability to play games, wasn't it? When we were doing that, like Thursday, Sunday, we were like, he's got to play one of them. Can't play both. Yeah. He can't play both. So you need a squad, and to your point with the younger players, you need a young squad with a sprinkle of experience in there, but you need a young squad that the coach can mold, and they listen to everything he says. They buy into absolutely everything he says, and that's what he's looking for.
I want to, and this is why I do want to say this, and I'm going to lose a lot of the fan base when I say this, but I don't care.
Oh,
I would. No, it's not bad. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. But I think that we should do it. I'm really seriously looking at Rabiot on a free. You know, honestly.
I feel like you changed your mind on him yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Yes, literally. We did this yesterday morning. We were chatting about the Rabiot stuff, and you were like, "No, absolutely no way." And by the end of it, you were going, "There could be conditions. There could be."
I'm looking at Rabiot on a free because what you need though is you do need like. I was getting back and I'm just looking at other teams and how they've like collectively built their squads together. Is Rabiot a bad player? No. Is he got the physicality that will be good for our league? Yes. Can he? Where is he next to McTominay? Is he a more pure midfielder than McTominay is? Well, yeah, we can say that.
Yeah, much better.
You know what I mean? McTominay played a lot of games in the Premier League for us. Where there's going to be games where we need a different. There's going to be a game where we just need a different reflection. We need a different look. And he allows us that. He gives us a new, like if you're telling me we get rid of Eriksen and replace him with Rabiot, I'm actually quite happy with that. Because it's not every day Ugarte can bomb into challenges. Someone like him is going to get a suspension. When we got Casemiro suspended for all those games, remember when Casemiro was first season bombing about and he was so good, but the drop-off from Casemiro was other teams celebrated when Casemiro got that 5-game ban because they could see how much he could give to us. Now, I don't want to be put in that situation again. So I would like to bring in players that there's just, I'm looking for options. And I do believe that Rabiot, if the money makes sense and the project makes sense, bring him in.
With the Rabiot one, I lean towards no. I think there's a lot of baggage and a lot of drama, but I'm not going to completely rule it out because I do think there could be potential conditions for it to work. Obviously, I know when people free transfer, as we've said, there's no such thing as a free transfer. A lot of the time, the transfer fee you would pay ends up going somewhere, whether it is agent fees or signing on bonus. Look at the Mbappe one. I mean, he's got like a signing on bonus of like 100 million quid or something ridiculous with that. I just look at it and I go, well, 2 years ago, it was a similar situation, wasn't it? I think it was a free transfer at that time or something like that, or it was a low cost fee. And he didn't end up joining because his wage demands were too high. And that was back then when Man United were handing out, that's John Murtough era of Richard Arnold burning through cash, but have it anyway, to throw it onto the bonfire. Looking at his wages at Juventus, he was on basically £145,000 a week. Which if he came to United on that, he would be in the middle, really. He'd be in the middle. Yes. If he was willing to take a pay cut, and the only thing is there are crazy stories about like his agent, his mum, wanting him to play and being disruptive and stuff like that.
But then let's have it right though, because
it does feel like something that Ineos. It just feel like something Ineos probably wouldn't do. But again, under certain conditions, it could, to your point, be a bit of smart business.
Owen, let's really look at this. He's doing something that's a bit different. He's got his mum as his agent, and his mum's spoken down to. Is his mum doing anything any other agents done for their child, for their client? No,
for their child.
Sorry, for their client. It's a child, but his mum's asking for the best money for their.
Of course, is what agents
his
do.
mum just the agent. So now, but then
it's more like in the past. She's got like in the past been like he's got to be playing. You know,
how many agents have said that my client's got to play?
But do they have to do it publicly as many times as
how many agents do it silently?
They've done it.
Agents do it, but I'm saying because she's a woman in a man's game is happening. She's looked at a certain way for saying what a male agent's been saying for years. So it's not like I just think that the she has her own thingy she has her own walk to take, and they look at her a certain way for doing exactly what other male agents are doing. And the fact that it's his mum, it kind of looks funny as well. But then no, she's got his best interest. I don't think there's I don't know, like Pogba's agent done a madness with us. All right.
And we want to get away from that. That's the point, isn't it? So
no,
okay, to take out the part that she's, you know, his mother and a woman or anything like that. Take it out. Let's just say agent. If we just said his agent can be quite disruptive, and we go, we've dealt with sort of disruptive agents in the past, would we not go, that's a red flag then for us?
And here you go. So then I'll use the line of Kia Jaracharan. That's the guy that was a madness, and that's where he owned Summer Tevez. And we had that breakdown with Tevez to City, bro. Who was his agent? Kia, the same Kia that was involved in the owning how much percent of the players and then ending up at West Ham and finding out him and Mascherano. But we still went back. We're dealing with him now on the Zaxi deal. Even though, and I'll say that's more dirt on his name. But guess what? It's part of the business. It's football at the end of the day. This is business. But then I think the level of how we talk about them is not like it's not like. I just think it's funny. I just think there's a funny little spin on it, and it makes sense because it's easy to throw that card out. But then every agent is doing the same. Get my money, get my client as much as I can, get them a new deal, or we move. Simple as that. Simple as that.
So in a word, Rabiot, yes or no?
If the deal makes sense, yes. If we can make it make sense, for us, not for his mum or not for his agent. Let's use that because I'm back in the thing again. Yeah. Not if it makes sense for us and they agree to the terms, go for it. I don't want to say the guy's name. Sorry.
and what makes sense to you in terms of like what United would be looking for? Do you think?
If he's on the way to 100 and
he's on like 145 at the moment, about 145.
160.
You'd give him more. You give him more than he was on at Juventus.
Well, how much you gonna? Well, who takes less money? That's not gonna break our pay wage.
Hey, Matthijs de Ligt takes less. Matthijs de Ligt took less.
If we can get it down, I'll take it. But if we can get it down, I'll take it. But I'm saying it's not gonna. There's no transfer fee, as in it's a free. Yeah. So the money that you spread out of, if you're trying to buy a 30-year-old, you just think like that. So you say, well, if it was really gonna buy you in the normal market, it would have cost how much million? Well, guess what? Well, that's not happening. So we'll break this. Some of that money down over certain years in your salary.
I'd be like, max will do is match your contract that you want at Juventus. Ideally, a little bit less. Because like you said, if you believe in the project, you know, but you we wanted you a couple of years ago. We weren't really happy with how those negotiations turned out. So, you know, and we've changed.
But if he comes to United, honestly, I know we're getting into the heavy finance side of things, but like, as long as we're not in like financial difficulty and everything's okay, like the people that are managing that do that well, I don't actually care. I hope we can operate within the lines of stuff, but then that's not my job. All I want to do is say United, and cheer on the team and have the best team out on the pitch. If they can operate within the lines of the financial structure and it works, go for it. If not, then it's cool.
They're saying the G in KG stands for Glazer.
Oh, that's crazy. I know I'm not a negotiator. I wasn't even good at maths, bro. So I'm not that person. Like, I'm just saying that, like, he could offer something. Is
that what you say when you're across the negotiating table? We go, well, I don't even really good at maths, so I'm not going to get involved. Really.
It's not my thing. But then hopefully the right people are in the right positions and they know what they're doing.
Absolutely. We've got to have faith that, because so far, that's what they've done. A couple of super chats and we'll wrap things up. Gnome has been a member for 23 months. Says, so Ugarte is our new Casemiro, who is his backup / rotation, who is the rotation for Bruno. I think when it comes to rotation and backup for Ugarte, I mean, we still have a few midfielders on the on the in
Hannibal's
the books,
got to
didn't
go.
we?
Hannibal's got to go.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go. Maybe we do more business. Maybe KG. Maybe what Collier.
You never know, though. You might get a few games next season.
Anything's possible. Lil Yo says, "Get it, KG. Get it, KG. Get it, KG. Bow, 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 bow."
That's just terrible. It's just terrible. That's not the song for me, no.
No. Okay. I did see. I think someone did post something on Twitter last night, which was like an Ugarte song.
It was good.
You liked.
You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wise. I was like, yeah, that was good. I was like, yeah, that was good. That was really good. So hopefully that person makes a video so we can all start singing it.
And Harry says the Glazers would have loved KG as director of football.
I would have put us into administration. You see why? So I don't know.
We did a couple of years ago. We did a buy sell thing with a calculator on the screen, and I think KG broke the calculator. It went into
I'd put us into administration. So I don't think the Glazers wouldn't want anything to do with me. I'd want to compete. I would have bought Declan Rice last season for 100 million, just because.
So there you go. How many likes did we end up at? We ended up at over 1,100 likes. Big up. What a show. Unbelievable show. KG, that comedian, is going to be live on his channel very shortly.
Yes.
A few minutes. And you're going to be redirected straight across there. So I expect to see right now 1,500 people on KG.
Whoa.
That was yeah. I think KG would freeze. He'd be like, oh. I don't know about that.
Right, cool.
So be sure to check him out, and we'll be back. There's an episode of the Trinity later on as well, KG, isn't there? It's Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It's episode of Trinity.
Right. We're out of it. Peace.